A catastrophic failure to follow basic trenching rules turns a simple excavation into a mass collapse. The scene shows several workers digging a deep trench right at the base of a tall concrete retaining wall. Above them, an excavator and its operator are present, but no trench shoring, bracing, or structural support is in place. This omission is the core mistake. The workers continue to dig, relying only on the earth and the wall itself to hold back the immense weight. The danger is extreme and immediate. Removing soil from the base of the wall drastically compromises its stability. One worker, standing just below the exposed foundation, watches as the excavator bucket moves, perhaps hoping it will brace the structure. Suddenly, the wall can no longer support its own weight. The entire concrete structure, along with the heavy wooden gate above, collapses violently. The massive weight instantly buries the workers below, who had no time or space to escape the designated collapse zone. Never ever excavate a trench deeper than 4 feet without properly shoring, shielding, or sloping the walls. The failure to use basic protective systems like trench boxes or hydraulic bracing is a severe and often fatal safety violation. When removing support from a structure, always establish a clear collapse zone and ensure all personnel are safely evacuated before work proceeds. In a moment of extreme physical effort, a champion lifter loses control with catastrophic results. The scene is a strongman competition. The athlete, already straining, secures the giant Atlas stone and begins the crucial final lift toward the top rack. He is at the absolute peak of his exertion, pushing through muscle failure to complete the task. He briefly manages to lift the stone over his chest, but his core stability fails. His balance shifts backward, and the immense weight overpowers him. In an instant, he crashes to the ground, and the massive heavy stone rolls down directly onto him. The crowd immediately rushes forward to assist. Never ever attempt maximum lifts without prioritizing core stabilization and proper spotters. In competitive lifting, the final push can be the most dangerous. Always ensure the lifting area is clear, and the event protocol allows for immediate medical support when lifting at maximum capacity. A loss of balance under extreme load is not just a failure, it's a critical safety incident. A complete disregard for safety standards turns a simple repair into a sudden fall from height. The scene shows 2 workers scaling an exterior building wall using a long metal ladder. Alarmingly, the ladder is not visibly secured or tied off at the top or base. One worker is high up, near the roofline, while the second is midway, stepping onto the building structure. Suddenly, the ladder's base slips. It instantly loses contact with the wall, tilting outward. Both workers lose their grip and fall several stories to the snow-covered ground below as the heavy metal ladder crashes down after them. The total lack of fall protection, or even basic tie-offs, is the critical failure. A severe breakdown in protocol creates a lethal combination of hot hazards and unstable footing in a commercial kitchen. The scene is the busy back-of-house area of a fast food restaurant. A worker has just finished the crucial task of draining hot oil from the deep fryers into a large bucket. This bucket of extremely hot oil, a massive burn hazard, is temporarily placed on the floor in a main walkway. At this critical moment, a manager walks through the area. She quickly checks a station, but the highly polished floor, possibly slick with condensation or minor spills, offers no traction. Her foot slips on the hazardous surface. Losing her balance, she stumbles and falls directly into the bucket's path, violently knocking it over. In an instant, the boiling hot oil pours out over her body. The manager, who was performing a routine check, becomes the victim of a preventable accident. Immediate help is required to contain the spill and treat the thermal injury. Never ever place buckets of hot oil or hazardous liquids in main walkways or high-traffic areas. Walkways must be kept dry and grease-free using anti-slip mats and immediate spill containment. Proper safety procedures dictate using designated transport carts and wet floor signage when handling any hot liquid to prevent life-altering burns. A moment of proximity to a massive rotating hazard turns routine inspection into a life-threatening entanglement. In the heavy industrial plant, a worker approaches a large, fast-spinning machine component. There is no guard or safety barrier separating him from the rotation, a fundamental violation. He leans in to check the mechanism, momentarily forgetting the absolute danger posed by the exposed moving parts. In an instant, his clothing is snagged. The massive rotating drum grips the fabric and violently pulls the worker into the mechanism's path, causing him to lose control. Never, ever enter the path of a moving machine or bypass safety guards. The immense speed and power of industrial rotation leave no margin for error. Always lock out and tag out machinery before any maintenance or inspection, and maintain a strict safe distance from all rotating parts. On a factory courtyard, Three workers casually move a tall piece of metal scaffolding, a simple task on a clear day. But one unseen hazard turns routine labor into instant chaos. The crew is carrying the high vertical frame, moving quickly toward the building. They walk with focus, perhaps discussing their next step, assuming the path ahead is safe and clear. This is the moment of maximum risk, carrying long conductive material near overhead lines. As they bring the metal frame upright, it brushes just slightly against a power cable hanging above. There is no loud bang, no warning sign. The scaffolding instantly becomes a conductor. A silent, immense electrical current courses through the metal structure, and in a flash of light, through the workers' bodies. They are violently thrown to the ground, instantly disabled by the powerful jolt. The simple act of moving equipment has become a catastrophic electrical accident. Never ever move tall metal objects without first confirming the absolute distance to all power lines. Always look up. Always assume overhead lines are live. Electricity is an invisible danger that demands respect and a dedicated safety plan. On a busy freight yard, surrounded by towering stacks of shipping containers, a heavy truck begins to move, completely obscuring a worker in the driver's blind spot. One step too close, and the worker disappears from view, leaving no time for correction. It's a routine morning among the giants of global trade. The driver is focused only on maneuvering the large yellow truck. A worker, visible in a high-visibility vest, is walking along the fence line, finishing his tasks near a small structure. He is entirely unaware of the massive vehicle backing up right beside him. The truck begins its slow, deliberate reverse into a narrow lane. The worker steps around a barrier, bringing him directly into the vehicle's path. In a split second, the heavy, high-sided truck completely blocks him from the driver's mirrors and peripheral vision. The worker is instantly caught by the reversing vehicle. He is violently knocked to the ground and pulled beneath the moving weight. What was a simple walk has turned into a brutal collision due to a massive blind spot and a devastating lack of communication. On a wet, misty mountain road, a large tractor-trailer truck loses all control in a sudden, catastrophic skid. One moment of high speed on a slick surface turns into a devastating crash. Visibility is poor, and the road surface is dangerous. Despite the conditions, a large blue flatbed truck is traveling too quickly, approaching a curve without reducing its speed. Physics takes over instantly. The truck begins to slide across the lane, its trailer jackknifing and spinning violently. The force of the impact sends the cab rolling, throwing the driver out and off the road. This is the price of haste on dangerous roads. Never, ever assume a heavy vehicle can safely handle high speeds on a wet or foggy surface. Reduce speed, increase following distance, and brake early. Always respect the road conditions. They demand caution. They do not forgive errors. In a crowded public corridor, a worker decides to turn a simple standing table into a dangerous trampoline, demonstrating a blatant disregard for safety. Surrounded by colleagues, the man attempts a reckless jump onto the small, unsecured high-top table. The light table instantly slides away from under his feet. He loses all balance mid-air and crashes hard onto the floor, landing squarely on his back. A moment of misplaced confidence turns into a sharp reminder of physics and foolishness. Never ever engage in horseplay or unnecessary stunts in the workplace. Never assume a seemingly harmless object can support human weight or motion. Respect your environment and maintain professionalism. On a steep, rugged hillside, a powerful ATV attempts a treacherous climb, but one critical error in weight distribution turns a moment of adventure into a violent rollover. The day is bright, and the challenge is clear. A long, steep climb up a dry, grassy slope. The rider, confident in the machine's power, accelerates hard from the base. As the ATV begins its ascent, the driver fails to shift their weight forward to compensate for the extreme incline. This is the moment where confidence betrays physics. The engine struggles as the slope becomes too vertical. The rear tires lose traction, and the excessive torque causes the front of the vehicle to lift uncontrollably. In an instant, the ATV stalls and, overcome by gravity, begins to flip backward. The rider is violently ejected, thrown clear as the heavy machine somersaults down the hill, tumbling end over end until it crashes to a stop at the bottom. The attempt to conquer the hill has become a brutal and painful descent. Never ever attempt to climb extreme inclines on an ATV without correctly shifting your body weight to the front wheels. Never rely solely on raw power. ATV riding on steep slopes requires perfect balance, proper body positioning, and constant awareness of the vehicle's center of gravity. When the vehicle stalls, dismount immediately and safely move away from the path of a potential rollover. Time is up. These were the latest safety warnings from Fails Accidents TV. Hit like and subscribe to our channel now. Your comment could save a life. Let us know what you learned today. Stay vigilant, stay safe. See you next time.